So this is the second episode for Behind the Convention. So here we have today a second guest for BYLC. To introduce just sebentar lagi is that give like a background sikit lah Ian ya. So he is currently the chairperson for the BYLC event ni. This is the third BYLC, so it's 3 years running since 2018. And then he also the founder of Perspective Insan. Alhamdulillah, and also he also the founder for Brunei AIDS the president for Brunei Darussalam AIDS Council. So here, and I think everyone he's quite famous, very famous ya di kalangan youth movement ni, youth activities apa, and also around Brunei Darussalam because yang I'm going to introduce to you is YB Iswandy himself. Assalamualaikum YB.
Waalaikumsalam Tuan Azman. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Great myself.
Alhamdulillah. Makan sudah?
Alhamdulillah.
Alright YB.
So di mana lepasan ni belak makannya?
Itu karang cerita. Artinya YB kan belanja kata.
Okay. Diam tepi kadang.
Okay, ngam. Alhamdulillah. So YB, so everyone knows you as Yang Berhormat YB Iswandy, one of the YB representing the youth in the Majlis Mesyuarat Negara. Alhamdulillah. So, how long have you been YB for MNN?
So it starts since 2017 when I was appointed. 13th January 2017. When you saw the blue screen on RTB masa tu.
Yeah.
Correct.
Macam tu announcement penting tau. So it's been 2017. That's almost 4 years ago.
So yeah, we're coming to our fifth term. So
fifth term.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So first and foremost, I would like to say thank you for YB representing us and listening to some of the youth punya voices and helping us out in creating activities or creating organizations that focus on the youth movement in Brunei Darussalam. Not only that, we also know you as the founder of Perspective Insan and also the president, currently the president of Brunei Darussalam AIDS Council. So let's talk about a little bit what is Perspective Insan and why do you create Perspective Insan and why do you create the Brunei Darussalam AIDS Council ni?
Okay. So I guess I start with the AIDS Council because chronologically that's where I started. So I was 20 years old when I joined the AIDS Council. I was initially coming from the sports organization. So I was a field hockey player.
Oh, I see.
So I went to Sukma in Negeri Sembilan, and I was also hockey and also fencing. So fencing I went to Sukma lah, hockey I went to at least wakil negara, wakil daerah masa itu sudah. But then again I shifted to a social movement which is the Majlis AIDS Negara Brunei Darussalam 2004. So I started as any member, a volunteer. You didn't want to go to be you didn't intend to become a registered member. But again that's when you love what you do and do what you love. So I climb up the ranks lah, if I can use the word. So from just a volunteer to secretary to project managers to vice president. Then when the president stepped down because of personal reason, then I was voted in as a as a president of myself. And that's where I see a lot of these youth issues, not just on perspective on HIV and AIDS, but also in terms of like engagement. So back then, just a bit of story of youth organization in Brunei about 2012, 15 or 15, 16 years ago, there was no youth organization that was led by a young person.
Oh, I see.
So semua was elderly. So youth organization but led by an uncle, like uncle lah, animi bah, There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong.
But the generation gap is too far. Okay. And I remember at that time like, hey, it's council, you're doing HIV AIDS what? Yes, we do that. So what do you need from us? Can you do leadership programs? I said, why us leadership? So na dorang lain kan dilagau. Right? At that time, there was no one. There was no. I mean, there was pengakar, pandu putri, but very limited. So there wasn't even a request by a school. Hey, can you do an awareness on bullying to the school? Like I said, oh no, that's not our main program. So then I realized that the youth movement needs to be more upgraded lah, if I can use the word in Brunei. So that's where the youth empowerment comes in Brunei. So I did a lot of trainings with Jabatan Belia dan Sukan, with Commonwealth, with even UNICEF. So bring in trainers and whatnot lah in Brunei. Long story short, whoever I see now who's active in the youth movement, at least somehow, somewhere, I was there during their journey.
Oh,
Alhamdulillah. I mean, during the current now lah, the current one. So like YB Karuni Saimat, she was a Majlis Perwakilan Pelajar, and yourself. I remember when you during bukan ITB years, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to see people now are stepping up. The more players, it's better on the youth movement. So that's a long story short on about AIDS Council.
Yeah.
On Perspective Insan is actually a contribution that I want to make, a small contribution. It's not really it's not intended too much on profit making, although it is a business. So that's one of the main objective lah, obviously, to make money and whatnot, revenue. However, it's because of this question, like, hey, if we want to do training in Brunei, who are the consultants? Who are the local consultants?
Yes.
There are a few, but it's good to have more. It's good to have additional. So we focus on soft skills and basically professional development. So hence the reason why BYLC came. So BYLC is not, so people say, oh, is BYLC a summer camp? It's not. Is it a leadership or motivational program? It's not. It's actually a full-on convention that if you see a convention, all over the world kan, like macam that you pay thousands of hundreds of dollars just to attend a full-on convention. So that's what the intention of BYLC is. But focusing on local content, which is Wawasan Brunei 2035.
I see.
Hence the reason why even with the limitation that we have in Brunei, limited space and whatnot, we still try to make at least a top class level of a convention. So it doesn't necessarily to be at a hotel, but at least the speakers are, when you see that like in other countries or maybe for other people, like they have to pay hundreds of dollars just to bring them in. But for BYLC, the youth are engaging with the likes of CEOs, the likes of award-winning people, professional, or even people who like I only see him or see her on TV, but here he is like, wow, my idol or someone that I look up to, speaking to the youth directly on an issue that people can relate to lah, which is wawasan. Okay.
Yes. So everything the BYLC ni is going to be in parallel with the wawasan 2035 lah. Yeah.
It is.
So regarding BYLC juga, we also like to ask who's going to be involved with the BYLC ni, who's going to be there, macam bagi sikit teaser lah, macam.
Or is it organizer, or is it the speaker, or is it the attendee?
Organizer okay lah.
Organizer lah pasal okay. Take that off, done.
So who's going to be there? Macam the mentors, who's going to be there?
Speakers
apa that we can expect lah.
So we try to have a variety every year kan. So for those who remember BYLC 2018 and 2019, yeah? So we have different takes of here and there lah. So we have like the likes of people who've been there, done that, but we also have the upcoming. I remember we brought in an e-gamer, an e-gamer herself kan. So siapa? I can't remember the name. So she's famous in the e-gaming, local e-gaming scene. We brought a lady who's empowered, that much on the women empowerment when she's a female mountain bike enthusiast.
Is it Liana?
Liana, correct. Right. So that was and then we have we have also people who's legendary, like the HR director of Brunei Chairperson Zainab, or Cikgu Ali Yusri. So this year we also have the same juga. Okay, we also have the same. So it's ranging from people who've been there, done that, but people who are also up and coming. Bezanya this time is instead of just general conversation about the three pillars of wawasan, which is the sustainable dynamic economy, high education, high quality of life and education atau we're gonna deal with specific problems that we have or issues that we're having on wawasan. Okay. So for example, like one of the topic is we're talking about digital. We're talking about smart nation or industrial revolution 4.0. Yeah. So we're gonna bring an expert or some subject matter expert or someone who's in the field or been involved in it to talk about it from their own perspective and experience or insights. So instead of a general like let's talk about highly educated people. That could be anyone can talk about it, right? But we're gonna talk from different perspectives lah. So if I can share on the educated people. Yes, we will be bringing maybe an educator, but perhaps we can also bring maybe a perspective of a student juga lah.
Oh, that will be interesting though.
Yeah, so you don't just see macam people who's been there, done that, but also people who are really on the ground.
Yeah.
So instead of policy makers, we also people who are policy influencers. Example like we're talking about inclusivity kan, apa social inclusivity. So we're gonna talk about people. We're gonna bring NGOs that deal with people with different ability. So he or she will, he's been there at the problems or day-to-day operations kan. So they're gonna talk like macam how we can contribute as a normal person or as a daily person on a daily basis for wawasan.
Oh, I see. That is interesting to look at. Macam this perspective of for me, when I take all the information to a perspective of older generation and the younger generation coming into this convention and talk about it.
Indeed, and that's where now we try to have the in the world of youth empowerment, we have this thing called intergenerational gap.
Yes,
and this we try to bridge the gap atulah. But it's not about bridging the gap saja per se, but it's also about how is the collaboration that we want to propose this and that. Okay, I mean the government of His Majesty always mention about the whole of nation approach kan.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
So whole of nation approach, and for those who might not be familiar with it, is basically to make it simple, everyone working together
to reach a
certain goal atau sama-sama taniba, right? So from the government, private sector, even a person who's on the other side who's receiving the benefit atu kan. So macam example, if you took like education lah, say so the government provided schools, okay, teachers provided that, the NGO provided this bantuan for people yang susah untuk belajar, but the students who are receiving it need to do their part to belajar rajin-rajin.
Oh wow, macam get what's given to and try to pay back.
Correct. And then parents yang involved juga pun macam let me help do my part juga to assist this anak belajar rajin-rajin, right?
Yes.
So that's whole of nation approach, right? So if everyone's doing their part, and then that's the Bruneian way. We tulong menulong We're not finding faults, we're not finding problems, but if we do, we solve it together.
Yes, alhamdulillah. No, I don't think it's mine. I think it's YB gila. Oops. Okay, tadi ada that's bunyian.
So for those who are out there kan, actually Ros malam menyanyi pelan. That's why we're trying to control our kidam-kidam and smiling. Sabar saja kita.
Okay, alright. So before we proceed to next question lagi, we have one activity saja lah.
Please.
We're trying to get this activity done with everyone we're gonna interview for the behind the convention.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have a paper here.
Oh my God.
Ada marker apa?
Okay.
Ada marker, alright. So the question is that, can you draw us a picture of Brunei from your perspective lah in 2035?
You're asking someone who pandai melukis to draw kan?
Kami akan bagi lukisan ini untuk dijudge by kami punya audience nanti. So yeah, I mean anything macam ne payah map Brunei lah, tapi just to say that what's your vision for 2035 in the coming years, macam what's gonna happen, what's gonna be built up as
So the vision of Brunei in 2035.
Yes.
So that's about 15 years.
15 more years. 14 more years. So at the meantime while you drawing, macam adalah akan tanya soalan-soalan macam cipomas lah sikit apa. So since we are like we are achieving trying to achieve trying to get to wawasan 2035 which is in, as mentioned today, 14 years atau kan. So I mean some of the youth movement in Brunei ni kadang-kadang macam what we're lacking is the resources bah. Yeah. Sometimes, right? I mean, in your own perspective, what they should do for them to move forward. Kalau dorang ada resources, apa boleh dorang buat? Itulah.
Okay. So you're talking about what are the resources that we don't have?
Yeah, we don't have, or something we don't know. Tapi ada sebenarnya di Brunei itu.
Okay. Right. So the beauty of Brunei Anikan, I wouldn't call it bad news, good news type of thing, but it's more about perspective.
Yeah.
So Brunei has a lot of things that we lack of. a lot. Okay, so it's a perfect country to live in when you see it, kan. But a lot of things that we can still improve, or a lot of things that we can still perbaiki or add on. I mean, take for example, okay, we're still relying on an economy is this based on oil and gas.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. But then again, there's something wrong with that. Kan, right?
We're too dependent on oil.
We're too dependent on it, kan. So I'm not an economist, so I'm not gonna go in depth in this, kan. Kena riak oleh economist luar sana cuma, apa kan this is wrong. But if you see it, kan, macam, so how do we try to lari from that dependency of oil and gas satu, kan? So there's this diversification of economy that we're trying to do, kan, dari dulu, kan. But of course, there's no urgency to it, bah. Okay, because oil and gas is always there. It's always there, and alhamdulillah, His Majesty's government is very pemudulian rakyatnya. Okay, so people are like, nanti tah dulu, nanti tok berbusiness, nanti tah that dream of mine to start a company, sabar, maybe I can kerja dulu somewhere. But we have a lot of orang pandai, orang bagus, orang yang mampu di luar sana to start on their own. Okay, and to look at it, you don't need, I mean, you can ask Darussalam Enterprise, you don't need a big capital to start something, to start a simple business. You don't need a master's in business administration to start a business, or you don't need a big capital, investing capital to do all this, kan. All you need is just basic things. Start where you are, do what you have, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can.
Start where you are.
Use what you have. Do what you can mentality.
Do what you can.
That mentality, kan. So anything can become business. I mean, I was in Myanmar 2009. So they were selling batu, kan. I mean,
the red batu,
the batu jade and whatnot. So of course, harganya was a bit slightly cheaper because it's from the source. Sampai ke Brunei harganya 3, 4 times depending on the quality apa tu. So but when you go for asalnya, technically what they're selling is what the word itself, batu atau. It's just batu yang singgah. And when I see the original how jade looks like, kan, it's literally batu, and you kalau dia sampai singgah, anda kita notice barang itu, kan. So because of that, now we have people. Now we're very trying to push a business friendly approach. We can try to develop our local business, and this is where I guess where the pandemic came. The pandemic, COVID-19 happened last year, kan. So we weren't ready. All of us weren't.
I don't think everyone's ready.
Everyone was ready. I mean, there is an SOP somewhere for barang macam ni. But again, when it happens, we just have to basically wing it lah tu, and play it as it goes.
We do have the SOP for sekiranya ada like a biological.
Correct. We are prepared. So maybe, for example, like a natural disaster, but not a pandemic that level at that time. So it was scary at the same time, kan. But we came together as a country, and if you notice at that time, suddenly tiba-tiba everyone can do business, bah. The e-commerce thing, suddenly everyone. Okay, you don't need a website. You just need a phone and WhatsApp. We were stuck at home, if you remember that.
For a few months.
For a few weeks and months, we were stuck at home. So macam dia boleh keluar, but next thing you know, I know this guy who jual nasi lemak. Message siya, maybe dapat ngantar. Message, bukannya datang, Then suddenly ada runners. Then suddenly ada e-commerce. Then e-payments getting better. Then people came together. There's a marketplace online. And then tiba-tiba and then we move on to macam our e-health kita ni, brew health kita ni. So if you notice that we are capable to do this type of things. IR 4.0, Industry Revolution 4.0 is actually doable.
Doable.
Right? It's doable, Brunei. So like podcast 5 years ago, this was unheard of. Tahu macam people stuck di rumah, anyone can do podcast. Tiba-tiba the light ring itu famous berjual di sini.
Bukan pasal TikTok tau.
Atu hijau lah. Again, TikTok. That's what I can't remember the word, but it's also on a marketing level. Kan they're marketing companies and whatnot, right? So anyone can do business. So again, because of that,
continue.
Okay, because of that limitation that we have, we also see that's a possibility for us to grow.
Yes.
The problems that we have are problems that we need to solve, and that solution either we can sell or we can provide the solution to the society.
I see.
Right? So I guess that's something yang we need to appreciate. That Bruneians, bukannya India pandai, Bruneians are bukannya India tahu. It's just that kadang-kadang we just too complacent saja. Right? Okay, we just too complacent. I mean, look at it this way. People were complaining like, hey, YB Iswandy nya, nada apa-apa news di Brunei nya. Like macam I was referring to I look at the newspaper kan, half a page, 1/3 of the page the title.
International punya news.
Local newspaper na. One quarter, 1/3 of the page the title of the newspaper. One third is the advert and 1/3 is the news. Okay, 1/3 is the news, the headline, the front page, and the front page was guess. It is something that's very tamit saja kali.
So buaya kan buaya.
Could be buaya or could be longkang.
Because buaya is quite famous nowadays. Sudah macam it's everywhere.
Correct.
Surprisingly, like tak pernah mau banyak buaya-buaya ni.
Correct. Could be macam longkang tersumbat or jalan raya rosak. So it's so basic that there's no news in Brunei. But when people take granted because of that no news, if you put it in another perspective, that means we are a peaceful country.
Yes.
That we don't have any, in other countries like wars, crisis and whatnot. But di sini, our news is
macam
orang hiking. Ada buaya, anjing menggigit orang, those type of things kan. So I guess something that we have to appreciate is the peaceful nature of Brunei. The peace that we have in Brunei.
Yes.
Okay, the abode of peace in Brunei. Nama itu is true. It truly is. So I guess that's something that our younger generation, which is now millennials
Millennials.
But now Gen Z is growing up. They're already in their 20s now.
Next apa? Gen
Z.
After Gen Z, I heard there's like after Gen Z.
Gen Z baru. Gen Z are the ones born 2000 and above.
I think 2010 sudah born.
Tadi 2021, so some of them already 20 years old.
20 years old
sudah. So ada yang sudah kerja kali. So that's something that we have that's something that we have to appreciate the peace that we have in Brunei.
Yes, we do. Macam I feel like not to say that we sometimes we can't be like macam really macam bersyukur that some people bersyukur Brunei ni ada entertainment ni, ada nothing to do, nothing to look at. Apa ni macam apa, ada orang pernah cakap kalau kan cari entertainment Brunei ni sehari hanya boleh buat barang tu macam dari Temburong ke KB. Habis itu cuma tu. I was like okay, it will true pulang tapi why are we stuck like that? Sometimes I think about it.
So again, it's all perspective. People in Brunei who are looking for entertainment and we go outside.
Yes.
Okay, whatever lah, Disneyland and whatnot, di luar tu lah, whatever we do. Okay, so you Singapore to shop at the Brunei. But do you notice, if you see it from another perspective, people are flocking to Brunei just to find that peace, just to go to hutan, ke pantai kita ni. I mean, I have a friend who works as a diplomat in Brunei. So, what do you miss the most nanti when you go back? Your cute airport. I said, what do you mean you want cute airport?
Damit ka?
One is small, obviously. But I don't have to rush. And then that's the airport that when you datang baju lawa-lawa, you balik on the other side, you still lawa banyak. Pasal you don't have to rush. You can enjoy your sip of coffee before going to the flight. And people are not rushing to barge in, or people are rushing to go out. That's something that I appreciate in Brunei. I mean, what is traffic jam in Brunei? Rush hour maybe. Accident maybe, but not traffic jam. At most kalau orang cakapnya, where are you? Traffic jam. Accidentnya tu mana ada. Akhir tu keluar dah tu. Akhir jalan tu. Lo sinda. Guilty as charged.
Guilty. Tapi kalau ngambil nak sekolah.
Kalau ngambil, that's rush hour, right?
Atau rush hour. Atau pun traffic. Atulah nauzubillah.
Okay. So that's rush hour. And then another thing is about nothing to do in Brunei and Nikan. Yes, people might be saying, oh Brunei buildings lah, dia tinggi-tinggi.
Dia tinggi-tinggi.
Fair enough. Kita ni mungkin, I like this statement by a friend who made this and then got me thinking kan, kita ninya mungkin ada bangunan tinggi mencakar langit. Tapi kita ni banyak bangunan yang mencapaikan doa ke langit. Allah, batu baru right? So we're building not just mosques, but we're building family homes untuk family to come together to reduce social issues, to eliminate social issues. We're making our pusat belia as nice as possible. Here we are at pusat belia, where in other countries they do youth centersnya untuk mengelakkan belia-belianya berdadah, atau belia-belianya involved in social issues. Here we are doing pusat belia for recreational activities. Or macam example lah, this creative industry that we're doing now kan. So we're trying to we're bringing together by building appropriate buildings, not building to impress other people, but building that we can use together as a society, right? So if you notice, the buildings or the roads that we have in Brunei, it's not to impress anyone. It's untuk kita ni ba.
For our convenience.
For our convenience, for our usage. Of course, when tourists datang kemari macam, Brunei, I like to share what Brunei is enjoying on a daily basis. Okay, so example, our beaches. Okay, if you go to our beaches kan, Pantai Muara macam tu usulnya macam kalau tanya, Pantai Muara. So I was at a pantai in one of the countries in ASEAN. Okay, in Thailand kan, it's not a pantai, it's just a strip of land yang di ujung sana tu. Itu pun people berjamur je di sana. When I go to Pantai Muara, dalam hati aku melihat tu, ni lawa lagi Pantai Muara ni.
Oh yeah.
So aku thinking macam, oh shoot, we take for granted Pantai Muara tu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the things that we have to appreciate in Brunei kan. Again, it's us Bruneian to promote Brunei properly to the other country. We are our own ambassadors.
That is true as well. Oh, back to the drawing. So
I'm not done. I suck.
I think I noticed that YB Iswandy ni dapat multitasking. Kalau bercakap, mesti boleh buat apa-apa tu.
No, I don't know how.
I think we give you about like a few minutes lah. I getting that. Ni dapat tanya soalan ni. Kalau tanya soalan berhenti ni.
No, berhenti ni.
Habiskan dulu drawing.
Kira sambil what we have di sana.
Okay, sambil cerita-cerita tu lah. Ada this Anis keperita kami yang buat. So, ia buat macam ni lah.
Salahkan niya kalau nilurus.
Kalau nilurus pun salahkan niya. Emak, dengar tu. So, there is one quote associated with you. I think you know this quote juga. Never too young to lead.
Never too young to lead.
Yeah, never too young to lead. So, I mean, why that quote tu is very like macam ni dora, like close to you, like close to your heart tu.
So never too young to lead. That is, if I recall correctly, that is a quote by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan.
Okay.
Whom I met in 2011 di One Young World di Switzerland at that time. So very good guy. The late Kofi Annan. So he said that never too young to lead. I mean, it's really a bit panjang, but the key essence is never too young to lead. So here's the thing, we always think that it young because of inexperience of young people that they technically you cannot lead, right? But again, everyone is a leader. The reason why, because if you see the definition of leadership, the key component there is, of course, you can go to the management part of it, which is achieving the same objectives and whatnot. But the key word there is influence. Okay, and then nowadays, I mean, the current generation now is important about influence. Maybe back then, influence is about conquering other countries or by economics and whatnot, and which is still true. But when I say you're still playing with economies, like if you're a strong economy, you play a bigger role in the country, in the world now. However, leadership is also about influence. All right. So when I say influence, I mean whatever you do, if people follow, that's leadership. Social media. Okay? Am I saying that all social media people who are on social media are leaders? In a sense, you are influencing someone else with what you do.
Yes.
You are. Okay? Either you sengaja atau tidak sengaja, it's up to you lah. If you're a social media influencer, the keyword itself is you're influencing others for their decision. Either you promote a product, macam, buy this product. Dia bilang kembali wala tu, tapi macam, ada itu social media influencer. I mean, I went to this Dobby now where I send my baju for trikai for ironing and whatnot, and it's all because a social media influencer shared the information on dia punya IG Instagram kan. If that's not leadership, if that's not influencing, I don't know what that is kan. So that's technically leadership
totally
kan.
Influencing.
Okay, that's influencing. So nowadays, never too young to lead. If you put it, I mean that's on a basic level, but if you push it further, anyone can lead banana. At your own pace, at your own place, at your own affordability. Some can lead an NGO, some cannot. But maybe you can lead a group. Some cannot lead a group, maybe. Okay? Bawah lagi. Maybe you lead in your IG saja. A simple quote that you say in your tweet or Instagram when people are down membaca, barang yang macam, uplifting. Oh, that's very nice of him. Oh, that's very nice of her. Thank you.
ngam tu. Apa tu ada tu? We live we apa tu? We live by we rise by lifting others.
Kan, so
sama slokman dari tu.
now we are interconnected ani kan, we are interconnected ani. That information that you share about, I don't know, I mean, so whatever we do now, we influence others, so that's leadership. So if you share barang indah bisai on your social media, imagine the impact that can have that arah your followers. What if your barang itu is actually something yang negative? So what? A titik hitam. Kalau 10 kali you buat, 10 kali titik hitam. Imagine 100 kali kita ni buat barang yang mengusut teganya. People baca pun macam, stress orang ni. Kalau orang itu need help, well, we help the person. Oh, are you okay? Right? Hilang satu titik hitamnya. But if that person sengaja buat barang itu ranting or just complain ganyan, people pun affected kan. So we want to be a generation of doers, implementers, motivators. Okay? We don't want to be a generation of complainers, moaners and groaners. Right?
True.
Right? So nowadays it's easy to take out your phone, tweet, I hate orang itu.
Then people will ask you, kenapa hate?
Kenapa dah? People create the owner. But what if you say macam, this guy is good. You should buy this barang yang you jual. People are curious, like, maybe it's good. Huh?
Kenapa baik kata?
Right?
Let me buy and see kalau baik ini.
A simple one. So never too young to lead is, again, you take it to your own. If you can want to lead a project, activity, an NGO, or you want to be example, a level of a young influencing policy influencers, or changing lives, up to you. But if you can do just on a normal or a small basis, that's good enough also.
Okay. Sure. Alhamdulillah. Okay, back to...
I don't know if this is yet, but yeah.
Siapa? Okay. So
saja,
everyone, this is what YB Iswandy did. Yeah. So, kalau terdengar ada orang menyanyi.
That's our background music.
So basically, this is the drawing. I think nanti we will show you with the audience.
If you can call that as drawing, that as a drawing.
So this is what YB Iswandy did for what he has a vision for Brunei Darussalam in 2035. So can you explain briefly lah, what is it?
Well, okay, on my unfinished masterpiece, so there are just four main components. One is the middle part, which is the MIB and Wawasan Brunei 2035, and that's where our love is. That's where our support is. I put in the middle lah. So raja kita ni, our national philosophy kita ni, konsep negara kita ni, and Wawasan Brunei 2035 hala tuju kita ni. So MIB is encompassing everything. So the MIB is about our identity, is our allegiance, our sultan, and also about our religion that we hold in. Okay, so our constitution allows other religion to practice here. We also celebrate different public holidays, and we love our sultan. Okay, but at the same time also, which is unfinished benarnya ni.
Okay.
So three things that we talk about. One, the peace that we have.
Yeah, we talk about that today.
We talk about that. So that's something that we need to appreciate. In other countries, they are fighting for peace. In Brunei, we're fighting for what? Nuggets. Or we're fighting for hiking spots yang depan
kambing. Ada tu kambing yang problem.
Ada kambing kan. But something that we have to appreciate, the peace that we have. And then of course the strong family institutions. So there's something about that we have to hold on to.
I see.
It's not just about family, but it's also about taking care of each other. Now bapa mama menjaga anak. In the future, that anak will need to jaga the bapa mama. It's not a must. It's not by law, but it's out of necessity, out of kemahuan sendiri. Right? We don't want to impose people like, dimastikan jaga bapa mama. No, it's human nature. It's human nature. You need to do that. And also, something that I'm pretty excited is this does not need to be in 2035, but something very soon coming, the electric vehicles in Brunei.
Good sudah kan?
The pilot is still be gonna inshallah tahun ni. So the next 5 years will be gonna be very exciting.
I see.
It's gonna be very exciting. The reason why I'm excited about electric vehicles is just a personal interest of mine to see electric vehicles in Brunei anyway. I mean, hybrids were there, but I didn't really minat pasal barang itu, but electric vehicles is the game changer in Brunei.
Yeah, I mean, Ustaz Lokman did mention about this too.
So something to look forward to. So macam those who are buying cars now. So technically in Brunei, you're buying cars an average lah every 10 years sekali.
Yeah.
According to your needs lah. So maybe kita damit dan kita family, kita basar whatever tu kan. So if you're buying a car now, expect in the next 10 years that you should consider your next car will be EVs. Right? Because now the price are dropping slow properly now. So it should be affordable. The range will be great. Charging points will be here and then sudah silap. I mean, the technology is already there that you can charge di rumah now.
Yeah.
Right? So hopefully it will catch on. I mean, who knows? Dulu I remember 20 years ago when I saw first mobile phones in Brunei, macam orang bosan dengan yang mampu tu.
Benar.
Like now kan macam it's normal to see a child holding a phone. You never know.
Never know. Maybe it'll be faster lah.
Correct. So that's something to see in Brunei lah, because Brunei is we cannot lari from it. We are a country based on cars, vehicles.
True.
So public transport will be there. I guess we'll catch on eventually.
Inshallah.
But EVs is the way to go. So you never know. Electric buses. Maybe kan?
Yeah, the convenience for, as mentioned tadi, convenience of our people. Yeah.
Correct.
Inshallah. Maybe nanti kadang because of there's too many cars that public transportation becomes another option.
Yeah.
A bigger one of the best choice like in the future lah. Alright. Okay, last question. Kena cakapnya last ni.
Okay, banyak lagi.
Okay. Right, last question. Well, this maybe last question ada sub atulah. Sub beranak question. So going back to BYLC lah, since we're under behind the convention. So let's talk about BYLC a bit lah. So what's the difference between BYLC yang the first and the second? Now with the third one ni. Apa difference-nya? Apa yang will be the biggest attraction for the BYLC this year?
So I'm not going to repeat the content of BYLC. You can check on the website what the content will be lah. So the first and the second one is to mobilize.
Yeah.
Okay. So those who are attending BYLC is for those to start off lah. Then we get the feedback from the people lah tu. They say, we need more hands-on training.
I see.
Or coaching from these mentors, not just them speaking to us and dictating us what to do. So they want proper interaction. Even though there's Slido or people asking questions, or even people WhatsApp, can you ask this question? Why use the proper channel Slido? Why are you WhatsApping me the question? Ni buyok ni, minum dalam ni.
Okay.
So we're gonna have so the BYLC ketiga we're gonna have coaching session. Proper coaching session. So we're inviting the likes of YP and Brunei, Young Professionals Network. Okay, so they'll be having a session with us di sana atau on that one. Okay, then so that's one difference. Okay, satu keduanya, dalam dewan sajanya, ada keluar kanya, ada aktiviti di luar kanya, ada lawatan, or maybe ada yang requestnya, can we do like an obstacle course? Macam wow. Because you cannot. Because youth are not homogeneous, they're not one.
Yeah.
Ada different. Ada suka outdoor, ada suka indoor, ada suka berfikir, ada suka creative. So we're going out. So ada dua outdoor activities that we prepare. One is the physical side. So there's not gonna be night walk. Okay.
I see.
So there's gonna be activity by PKBN themselves. So if you've been to PKBN camp before, you know what it is. Dah lah, setengah hari saja. No, so not the full PKBN marching and whatnot.
Semua masuk.
So ada some of the obstacle course, and also kedua is we're gonna have visit to the orang ke kampung-kampung, ke mukim-mukim, to see the tourism part of it and see again. How can you be part of the pembangunan in Brunei, the national development in Brunei? So you're going to see di Temburong, you're going to be in Temburong. So you're going to see part of Temburong like, how can I turn that into an opportunity? As I said macam tadi kan, so a graduate of the BYLC Matin Tambang BN kan. So it's an idea that he has, then he changed it, like, so he solved a problem that he has in daerahnya, Tutong, which, just to add on more to the tourism part, so it's actually a river cruise in Tutong, right? Yeah. So maybe in Temburong, it doesn't have to be orang Temburong membuat di sana, but it could be a collaboration between other inter-districts atau. Right, so that's something that we want to encourage. It doesn't have to be like after BYLC confirm dibuat. Could be some ideas can take time bah. Okay, some ideas can take time. So hopefully with this we'll have more movement in not just Temburong but the whole of Brunei. Alhamdulillah, because of BYLC we contributed to, alhamdulillah, bergerak sudah belia-belia di Tutong, belia-belia di Belait. Brunei Boring obviously, so this is the largest group of people here. But Temburong, we still need to mobilize more lah di sana tu. So hopefully with our, we sama-sama dengan kawan-kawan tadi di sana, hopefully we will see a movement di sana, a proper youth movement in Brunei. Di Temburong nanti.
Alhamdulillah. Right? So inshallah the BYLC will be this year will help the Temburong punya people juga.
And it's also the other way around, because Temburong has a lot of potential.
Yes,
there's a lot of potential. Alhamdulillah jambatan Temburong sudah siap. You see the Bangar town is getting more vibrant.
Yeah.
But again, it's infrastructure wise, it's nice. But again, what can we do there? I mean, us our friends is like in terms of infrastructure, tutong Temburong Belait Temburong almost semua ada on each other. It's just that the central di bandar ni we have everything lah. But ada satu pun ada kurangnya juga. It's just that we have to make, as I said, use what you have, start where you are, do what you can. That's the reason why orang tanya di Temburong, BYLC mesti di hotel ni. Hotel sana is very limited.
Yeah.
Mesti di Dewan ni. Dewan yang paling besar pun sana is very limited. So do we make the best of PKBN, which is properly equipped, ada hostel, ada aircon, and selamat, security, safety and whatnot. So we use PKBN lah di sana. Right?
So I heard the participants are gonna stay over di hostel tu.
Correct. Because another different thing about BYLC this time, kalau dulu pagi patang balik. Now pagi patang ke malam. So you get your money worth.
Sampai subuh lah je tau.
Dah je lah sampai subuh. So, but feel free to bangun subuh. Feel free to bangun subuh. We do have some activities. I mean, of course, sembahyang subuh. But there will be, talking about activities, there is an early pagi menanam pokok, for example.
Oh, where is that?
They're gonna be in Temburong lah, masa BYLC tu. So we're gonna leave your mark with planting a tree and contributing to offsetting our carbon footprint.
Oh, I see.
So yes, we do have activities. One night walk, obviously, malam. So gonna be fun. And the reason why we put people in the hostel is because it's in Temburong. We don't want people rushing nyampati jambatan pukul 10. But just enjoy the serenity, and then it's good to discuss. Kadang-kadang kan, some ideas are born out of a cup of teh tarik. But could be malam tu because you stay in a hostel with friends. Maybe some ideas are born because of sharing that pop mie dimakan malam tu kala. You know what? Let's do something. Mana I don't know, mungkin pasal suara kita ni dari come up for idea dari mana kan ni? Apa penyebabnya? Milo kali dengan urit tawar kali.
Si katok kali tu. Si katok.
So hopefully with that we encourage more creativity on that.
Yeah, inshallah. So I think this is going to be the really last question.
Sure.
I mean, tadi kena signal sudah. Macam takut ku pulang. Habis kena ngarang bismillah. So
kan kenumban ni
let's back makanya sini, okay. Right. So I think the last question is that if you were a participant of the BYLC, if you macam becoming the participant of the convention ni, how would you make the most out of macam
I remember my first, one of my first youth convention, and I remember it was 2008 Kongres Belia Kebangsaan 2008. So for those yang anda ingat kan, so artinya belum in the youth movement tu masa tu.
Belum tu.
So at that time is where we young people were listening to leaders and also influencing apa masa tu kan. So how we make the best out of it is engage with the discussion and also propose ideas and also engage with activities. But as a participant of BYLC ni, I would encourage people not to just come, but to be present and to get the most out of it. Many people are paying mentors to teach them, to coach them. Hundreds of, even thousands of dollars just to mendengar their lecture, their guidance. But this BYLC is a work of at least a year punya preparation to bring in more than 30 up to 50 mentors coming together just to share their insights, experience and wisdom to each other. Mengumpulkan mentors, almost 50 mentors together, young people who have the same mind to work on wawasan together, and everyone has the same mind to work on something to develop Brunei properly is not easy. Right? So if I were a participant kan, as much as possible be a sponge, absorb sebanyak-banyaknya. You can be overwhelmed obviously, but then again after BYLC that's where you see like, where should I start? Where can I start? If you can start just being a student and be the best student, good. If you want to start di kampung, good. If you start a business, silakan. If you just want to be someone who works in the private or government sector, pun okay. Nothing wrong with that. But again, keep in mind that whatever we do is we're contributing to Wawasan Brunei 2035. You can be pegawai kerajaan or a corporate officer, or you could be someone who working kerja sendiri, or you could be a student. But kalau tanya, so what do you do in Brunei? Yeah, you have two ways to answer it. One, example, I'm a teacher lah. I'm a teacher. Or the other way you can answer is, I'm helping Brunei to reach Wawasan Brunei 2035. If everyone has that same mindset, 2035 is not that far off. I think we can reach it together. That's the keyword. We reach it together. Bukan sikit saja orang membawa, yang lain menumpang saja. But we reach it together.
Sama-sama lah.
I've done my part. Example like, I've done my part Wawasan. Aku punya tu. That's my contribution tu. Walaupun sedikit. Right? So hopefully with that people can appreciate what BYLC is, but not appreciating BYLC, but appreciating what they can do to reach Wawasan Brunei 2035. I remember when I was started as a member of Legislative Council 2017, a few youths came to me, katanya, YB-nya, apa kan Wawasan Brunei 2035 ni? Mana kan website-nya? But now that question lagi ada. The question is like, maybe how can we be part of Wawasan Brunei 2035? It's shifting already.
Yes.
So Alhamdulillah, hopefully with this we see more, young leaders like you guys to come out and then hopefully to pass on the helm to the next generation.
Inshallah. I hope that everyone can contribute together sama-sama, gotong royong lah macam reaching that Wawasan 2030. Okay, alright. So I think that's all from for today punya this episode. Alhamdulillah. Thank you YB. Thank you for
having me.
Making time for us for Suara Kita Ni punya podcast for Behind the Convention. Alhamdulillah. So for everyone's punya information, BYLC ada punya website called BYLconvention.com, and then I think you guys are more active on Instagram juga.
Instagram, Facebook. Feel free to reach us out. We're all over social media.
Yeah. So still have time to register kan?
Of course. So there are, of course, we encourage people to there's an entrance fee to join. But for those who are maybe young that needed financial assistance, there's scholarship also.
I see.
Right? So we try to make it as inclusive as possible. Okay, as inclusive as possible. For those young needing financial assistance, there's scholarship. Alhamdulillah, provided by Yayasan Sultan Haji Sana Bolkiah.
Alhamdulillah.
But again, it's very competitive. It's very it's very limited. But yeah, feel free to register. We still have time. But let us know your needs, because we try to make it as inclusive as possible. So for example, previous BYLC, we have people from differently able to come. Ada yang visually impaired, ada physical kekurangan. So if you need any assistance in whatnot for BYLC, for example, I'm a special needs person. Can I bring a person to assist me to attend BYLC? Talk to us. We'll see what we can accommodate.
Okay.
So as inclusive as possible.
Inclusive lah. So for further updates, I think you guys better have a look at the BYLC convention. BYLconvention.com or BYL Convention Instagram and Facebook lah for further information lagi lah. And reach them there lah. So that's all from me. Thank you for tuning in for the second episode of Behind the Convention. We'll see you again on our next episode. Alright. Thank you YB Iswandy. Right.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Sana YB. Bye.